Here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night, everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with the blue window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. Cause he got nobody to listen. I'm blue,
We had to start with that song.
Do you remember when that came out?
Yeah. I was like in 5th or 6th grade, I think.
It came out when I came out in 1999.
Yeah, so I was in 7th grade.
Like that fall season, that was like, the very first gay club I ever went to.
Blue? Oh, that sounds like a magical memory.
It was, I was 20.
Trying to think what was playing.
We weren't supposed to be in that club yet.
Ooh, scandal.
I know. Good morning,
Good morning,
everybody.
everyone.
Are we actually on? Oh, great.
It feels so weird. So unfortunately, unfortunately, we're not at the brewery this morning. We love being at the brewery every Friday morning and seeing Trevor and Nicole and all our friends at the brewery. But just in an overabundance of caution, on our way back from DC yesterday, after we got off the plane, we stopped at a CVS to get a COVID test so that we could just be sure. It was completely not, I don't want to say unnecessary, but unmandated. DC is a place that has almost no COVID cases, so it's not on the list of travel ban type places.
Right.
But we just wanted to protect our community and keep our community safe and healthy. We just wanted to get our COVID test. We're just laying low until we get our results back.
So we're shooting from an undisclosed location.
Undisclosed.
A really, really nice apartment in Provincetown.
It's my apartment.
But out of an abundance
Not
of
as nice
caution
as Bob's apartment.
For our cast,
he's like
Molly, and our crew, Mark.
Home.
No, we wanted to protect Molly and Mark and
right.
everybody else.
And all the patrons at the brewery. I was supposed to work today and tomorrow at the brewery. I got my shifts covered. I just think it's responsible, and that's what I want everyone to do to protect our community.
Yeah, as it turns out, it's a bad look to come back to town after traveling and run around before you know your COVID results.
Yeah.
Like, people don't like it.
And maybe 2 weeks ago, we would have not done that, but we would have been a little less cautious. But this past week, it hasn't been getting a lot of coverage due to the election, but the last 2 days, we had over 100,000 new COVID cases, which is very alarming. I think we had like 1,200 deaths yesterday.
Record highs for cases and deaths.
Right. It's just not great. So,
but if you libtards weren't testing all the time, you wouldn't know about all this.
Oh my God. Remember that time Bob didn't want to tell us who he voted for during your voting special? Oh! You remember those 263 votes that voted for Trump in Provincetown?
It was 181. It would have been 180, but here I am.
Oh my God!
Just
He's kidding. He's okay. I really hope a lot of people didn't. Just like the networks took Trump off the air last night, we got taken off.
I don't want to appear as a partisan hack. We are a neutral show. Just kidding. We were just.
We're not
talking
neutral.
About...
Fuck that. I mean.
It's awfully early for such strong language.
Sorry,
as if we've never said that kind of stuff before. No, but let's make this show kind of like how it normally goes. Harrison, how was your week?
My week was wild. It started with Halloween. I went to 1 or 2 outdoor socially distanced gatherings that were very amazing and fun. I dressed as Velma from Scooby-Doo with a lot of the brewery gang.
Mm-hmm.
I went kind of lazy with my costume, but Trevor really turned it out as Daphne.
He looked great.
He looked so fucking
Do we have
fierce.
a picture of Trevor as Daphne? We probably don't because we didn't ask you to set that up.
It's so unfortunate.
Go to Trevor's Instagram.
Yeah.
Trevor Fool, right?
He looked fabulous.
He made a great. Whoever did his hair and makeup, was it Juo?
It was a wig.
Helped him. Right, but
no.
I know.
He grew it out and just blew it. No, Mikey Bukaram did his makeup and it was utterly fantastic. Yeah. I think Mikey used to work for Paris Hilton as her makeup assistant or something like that. Damn. So he's got the resume. And now he can add Trevor's makeup assistant to his resume.
I can't even believe that Halloween was within the last week.
No, I know, that's wild.
It feels a long
What did you do for
time
Halloween?
ago. I was working. That was my last night at the Red Inn for the year until April 15th, probably. Mm-hmm. So we are officially on our winter break, the Red Inn staff. Congratulations to everybody. that we work with on
Halloween weekend always feels like
season.
the end of the year for me because my first 4 seasons I would typically leave right after Halloween. So right after Halloween, it feels like, okay, it's winter now. One thing I like to do every season is I like to kind of identify, I try to make one really great new friend every season or one really incredible person I met this season. Last year it was Benji. I met him and fell in love with him last summer, and we now live together. He's my roommate for the winter, and he was my person last summer that I met. And I want to say this summer it was definitely Rachel Judlin.
Aww.
She was a host at the Red Inn this summer, and she just was like a breath of fresh air. So fun, always in a good mood. Really was phenomenal at her job, especially during this really hard summer of COVID restrictions and mandates and rules. She just did such an amazing job at the Red Inn, and I know all of our clientele fell in love with her, as did the staff, and as did we. We love Rachel.
You know, they undervalue Southern charm. Like, that's a thing, and you're like, oh, whatever, what does that mean?
Southern charm.
It was really hard to be kind and patient to people that were angry and aggressive, and Rachel found a way.
She's also an elementary school teacher otherwise, and I think managing a bunch of second graders really was great practice for managing a bunch of people fighting for tables at the Red Inn.
It's a lesson for us. Teach drunk adults like 4-year-olds. Just talk to them like they're 4.
Oh, I talk to everyone like they're 4.
Please put your mask on, please.
Please, can you put your mask on?
That's not how Rachel did it, but
no, but thanks for being a part of my summer, Rachel. You were really fantastic.
That's really sweet. Yeah, I would have to pick Rachel too.
Yeah. She's actually staying the winter, so
yeah.
If you see her, even though you probably don't know what she looks like, but if you see her, say hi.
Now that we're out of work, Rachel, let's hang.
Yeah. And then I worked my last day at the Red Inn on Sunday, which was fantastic. I've never worked the last day before, and it was really amazing because so many of our regulars and other staff members who happen to have the night off came in, and it was really fun, really great energy.
Old home week, like every table in that front room.
It was like friends at every table. It was really cute. And then Monday, we left for DC with our producer, Jonathan Hawkins from From Provincetown, and we were in DC for a few days, and it was really amazing. I think we traveled really well together, the 3 of us.
I think so too.
Me and Jonathan were so easygoing, so it was easy to put up with Bob's Divas demands. Only red M&Ms. It was wild.
Only green.
Oh, sorry.
His
rider was longer than Mariah's.
But shorter than J-Lo's.
Oh, well, duh. I don't know her.
It was a great week. It was honestly a great week. It's nice to be home. My favorite place is home, and my favorite place to wake up in is Provincetown.
Yeah, this morning was the first morning we woke up in Provincetown in about a week, and it was amazing. I was so happy to do that.
Thank you to all of you that watched our show while we were in DC and helped and supported us, especially Quinn from Cafe Heaven and Yvette from Aesthetics by Yvette. Can't wait to see you guys in town soon.
We have to, right before we started our broadcast this morning, I got a news notification saying that Biden took the lead in Pennsylvania.
Right before we came on.
Right. And I can't believe we didn't start just screaming that, but we are so excited. I woke up this morning to the news that we had overtaken Trump, or Biden had overtaken Trump. I say we because we're friends. We overtook him in Georgia, and we just got the news just before we went on the show that we overtook him in Pennsylvania, which is incredible news. Not only for the potential of winning the presidency, but it was really disheartening to think that half our country is supporting Trump. So every little success in the Biden column really makes my heart feel good.
Me too.
Yeah.
When are we going to show the little montage?
Later.
Oh. When are we going to do the...
We still have things to talk about.
Good.
Oh, in news that isn't related to the election, I know y'all are itching for that. My girl had her 5th #1 single. Ariana Grande had her 5th #1 single. Her 5th #1 single to debut at #1, which is a record. So Ariana, if you're watching, congratulations. Stream positions now. It was great.
It's okay. You said in the car that it was okay.
Shh. She's probably watching.
I'm sure she is.
Yeah.
And her little brother. What's her little brother's name?
Frankie. I think it's her older brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's such a queen.
Yeah.
We love you, Frankie. Come
we
on
love
the show.
queens. Yeah. Oh my God. Let's have Frankie Grande on the show. That would be amazing.
There's so little else to talk about, but the election, it feels like
Are we ugly now? Are we hideous? They're seeing us. They're seeing us be hideous.
Look away, look away. It feels like all there is in the news is election stuff. It's funny how quiet all the COVID news got.
Yeah. Right, which was a little worrisome. It's just a testament to how one-track minded our media is. I don't necessarily think it's the viewer who doesn't want to hear about COVID, because I think the general sentiment was like talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to refresh the map and look at every county in Wisconsin.
You know who I do want to talk about? Steve Kornacki.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did a little internet research on him.
Uh-huh.
He's exactly my age.
Work.
He grew up in Groton, Mass. He went to BU at the same time as me.
No way.
And now is like the map guy at MSNBC. It looked like he never changed his clothes or went to sleep for 3 days. Did you notice that?
I stand the map queen from CNN.
John King?
Yeah.
I love John King, but Steve Kornacki is one of us.
Right.
Like, you have a shot with Steve Kornacki.
Don't tell me I don't have a shot with Mr. King.
You don't have a shot with John King. John King's not gay, is he?
I don't know.
I don't think that
Gelman?
he is.
We're gonna
Jonathan,
wiki.
is John King gay?
If he is, I'm literally getting up and flying to New York.
Steve Kornacki, if you're watching, please come to Provincetown this summer. We can reminisce about BU, our time at COM. He was a film and TV person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
John King, if you're watching, come to Provincetown. You can tap my map all you want. Wow.
Yeah. Yikes. Getting a little excited up
You're
here.
welcome. Do you want to rant and rave now?
Okay.
Let's do that.
I want to rant. No, I want to rave.
We're a little discombobulated this morning just because we got in last night from DC. So.
Yeah. I want to rave about actually the people of Washington, D.C. We had such a nice, easy time getting around. There's a big P-Town, Washington, D.C. connection, and we had a lot of friends in P-Town being like, go here, I know the manager, you can shoot in this person's restaurant, go there, I'm friends with the people that work at this bar. And everybody was so welcoming and warm and helpful, and we got to see two of my best oldest friends while we were there, which to me was my favorite part of the trip.
Yeah, I got to meet them. They were phenomenal. Such a blast. We were at a brewery for like 3.5 hours, terrorizing everyone else there, because it was just nonstop riotous laughter.
But not just that, DC itself is a very navigable, walkable, beautiful, lots of parks. It's a nice place. It's actually a really nice place.
It was gorgeous.
And coming from the bluest town in the bluest state, Provincetown, by the way, voted 92% for Joe and Kamala. DC is 93.
Which is wild. Like, it's one thing for our tiny little community to vote that predominantly blue,
right,
but for an entire city to vote predominantly blue is really incredible and a testament.
Yeah, and so I do have to recognize and admit that we do live in very small, tight, blue, very, very blue bubbles.
Right.
So it's easy not to hear a lot of dissenting opinions. And then you turn on the news and you see those people banging on the windows, like with guns in their hands, at the people who are counting ballots. Let's just let them finish counting, shall we?
Is that not literal terrorism?
It feels like it. And then if you turn on Fox, I watched a lot of Fox News last night, by the way.
Which I think is smart.
And Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity are encouraging people to start the Civil War too.
Ooh, I hate that.
And Alex Jones, the InfoWars guy, is on the street in Arizona telling people, do not accept any results from this election. The fight starts now. At least now the fight is out in the open, and this is where it begins. They're literally speaking in war terms now.
The fight is over. The fight was voting.
Right.
That's the fight. That's the voice you have in our democracy.
Right.
And as much as we do have the right to protest, that doesn't, when you're threatening violence on people for political gain, that is literal terrorism. That's like the simplest definition of terrorism.
And everything that they've been accusing the Democrats of trying to do, stealing an election, trying to get people to stop counting votes is stealing an election.
Right.
Let them count. Let them finish. Look, Benji's home.
Benji's home.
We just revealed that we're at your house.
Oh yeah, we did. I said that before. I forgot what I was going to rant about. I'm shocked.
You were going to rant about... Oh, look, it's you forgetting a rant? Harry's in a really good mood this week, you guys, because he went
Well-
from working 7 days a week to none.
Right. So today is my first day off in a string of 7. I have every day off until next Friday, and that is more days off than I've had combined since June 15th. And I'm very happy about that.
We are all too.
I'm also ecstatic to. I'm also so grateful and happy to have had work for these last 5 months. And especially working at the Red Inn, working at the brewery, which are both incredible places to work with incredible staff and owners and management and clientele. I was thanking my lucky stars throughout the summer, but now I am thankful to have the next 7 days off.
And it just means that we have more time to work on and create and produce content for our creative efforts.
Yeah, there's going to be some really cool stuff happening here in the next few days. We're going to do some more segments.
Also,
zhuzh up the show a little.
If any of you were lucky enough to attend any of Jonathan Hawkins' Broadway on the Beach concert series, I hear there's going to be a Valentine's show.
From who?
From Jonathan. Jonathan's doing a Valentine's show. We're
Did he
making
say
this.
that?
No, he didn't. I'm just making this a thing now.
Great.
There has to be a singing Valentine's show.
We'll figure something
You're going to do
out.
Kissing a Fool by George Michael.
Oh, that's where it started.
That is where it started.
I'm-
It started in the car in
I'm
Boston.
going to do Never Had a Dream Come True by S Club 7.
Too
Oh my
soon.
God. Too soon. So we were...
No, stop. No, go ahead.
We were going for like throwback tunes, like kind of sing-alongy songs in the car. And we were doing a lot of like Fifi Dobson, Samantha Mumba. And I was like, I know the best song to play right now. And I put on S Club 7's Never Had a Dream Come True. Y'all probably haven't thought about this song in 25 years-ish, whenever it came out. But I guarantee if you put it on right now, you would jam out and know every word. Or start quietly weeping, which is exactly what Bob did.
Emotions were running high. We were going to the airport to fly to DC. I was underslept. And also, I just have to speak to the power of music. If you hear something that you haven't heard in 20 years, it will take you exactly right back to the feeling that you had when you last heard that, as it turns out.
It was sadness for Bob.
Yeah.
So I put on Never Had a Drink or Two. I'm like, haha, remember this guy's song? And I'm like singing along and I glance over and Bob's like, I'm like, are you crying right now to an S Club 7 song?
Listen to
And
the
he was.
words, you guys. Just Google the lyrics to that one. You'll choke up.
Yeah.
Or not. Or you'll laugh.
Joe from S Club 7, if you're watching, thank you so much for the killer vocal on that.
It's a pretty song. It's really pretty.
What was I going to rant about? I forgot.
I don't know. Oh, how hard it is to get a COVID test.
Right. So on our way back from DC yesterday, like I said, we did get COVID tests, but it was nearly impossible. We called 1,000 places who all they did was give us other numbers, and some of them were literally like, just keep calling till someone answers. I'm like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I know we've been talking about this forever, and we all know the reason why, but like, I feel like you should be able to get a COVID test wherever. We ended up going to a CVS in East Dennis, West Dennis,
In Yarmouth.
Yarmouth,
On
South
Cape,
Yarmouth.
yeah.
I don't know. On Cape Yarmouth-ish, and it was just drive-through. It was so incredible, so easy. The woman who helped us out was really fun. She was fun,
Mhm.
and it was really nice. She did a great job. And
We had to do the swab ourselves in our car. I don't
And
know if anybody else has done a drive-through COVID test, but this is how it goes. And you can hear these two in the car being like, It's,
yeah, Bob wasn't doing any of that.
No, I was crying, but that's because S Club 7 was still on.
Right? Yeah, but like, why isn't it easier to get a COVID test? And we know why, but why?
But the one place in Cambridge that we thought we were going to go to, there was a line down the street. And that's
Right.
when we were like, let's call all these places on the Cape. Maybe somebody else has a shorter line. Just so you guys know, there are a lot of CVSs that are doing this drive-through thing, and it's free.
Right.
You can get a free COVID test at a CVS.
It wasn't free for me and Jonathan.
Oh, it was. I don't know how.
Bob, asked Bob for his insurance card and he put it in and got it for free. I have insurance. It didn't ask me for my insurance and I ended up paying $138 for it. But I think there's a way I can unpay for it. You know.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Steve for a minute. I know he's standing by. So Steve was our correspondent while we were in DC for 538 Dyer. And he was really phenomenal. We just wanted to bring him in to talk more about the things that have happened in the last few days, because last time we talked to him on air, it was
Tuesday night.
It was when it was starting to not look great for us. Yeah.
Steve always kept the faith, though. Steve, are you there?
I am here. Thanks so much. And first, if I could just put on my chair of the Board of Health hat and thank you for doing more than is required to help keep us all safe during this pandemic and for encouraging other people to do tests. Tests are the way that when people travel, we can minimize the possibility of local spread in town. And we've been really fortunate. Although we've had some cases, there's not been local spread because people have been responsible and tested. So thank you both very much. Now, like this whole year, it feels like we have been, it's been a month in the last 4 days, right? While these votes have been trickling in. But today we finally crossed some boundaries that we're not going to come back across. Georgia and Pennsylvania have, I'm going to call him President-elect Biden.
You heard it here first. We're calling it before CNN, before Fox News, before MSNBC.
And I can do the numbers for people if they're interested. But basically, at this point, for Trump to win Pennsylvania, Biden's share of the outstanding votes would have to be under 11%. He's been doing 80%. So there's no path to victory through Pennsylvania for Trump. Georgia is going to be a runoff. I'm sorry, it's going to be a recount.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to go on for some time. And so just to say right now, at this moment, in every outstanding state except North Carolina and Alaska, Biden is ahead. And I believe he's going to win Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. And that's a solid electoral victory for him, a solid electoral college victory. Now, what's going to happen in the days ahead? So the states continue to count. Absentee ballot for overseas and military voters are still coming in, and they're still valid, and they'll be counted. We're going to count every vote. And in the coming 10 to 12 days, the secretaries of state and the governors are going to certify the election of their winner in each state. And on December 14th, the Electoral College will meet in the various state capitals in the District of Columbia to formally cast their votes. They will then be opened in the House of Representatives on January 6th, and that will be the final certification of this election. But there's a lot of time between here and there, and you'll see President-elect Biden telling everybody to breathe and to be calm, and I think that's good. On the other hand, you've got Trump telling people that this election was a fraud, and who knows what he's going to do. But we have to be confident in the final outcome, because at this point, there's no way that Trump is going to be reelected president.
You love to hear it.
Ooh, sigh of relief.
I know.
But then, when you do watch a little bit of Fox News last night, they're not going to back down, and they're encouraging him to behave the way that he is behaving. Things can get very dark in the next 4 weeks still, I think.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right. And I think we're in, I feel like the last 4 years have felt like uncharted territory every single day. We wake up and you literally don't know what craziness is going to happen in our country and around the world, frankly. And the pandemic is a good example of that. So I think, people should try to find their inner peace, try to, like I said, believe in the final outcome, believe that the good people win, because I think this election shows that the good people win. Let me just talk a little bit about the Senate, because the Senate is also incredibly important. And at the moment, there's a 48-48 tie. It looks like 2 more seats will be called for the Republicans. That takes them to 50. And then Georgia is going to serve up, because you haven't had enough excitement in Georgia. We're going to have 2 Senate runoff elections. Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff will be running against incumbents Loeffler and Perdue. And that will be on January 5th. And the winner of those 2 seats, if they both go Democrat, will determine that the Senate is in Democrat hands, with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris casting the deciding vote. That is a narrow way to get there, but there is a way to Senate control, but it is incredibly narrow.
Right.
I'll also say that there's some discussion about President-elect Biden appointing a Republican senator in a state with a Democrat governor to flip the seat. That would also take care of things potentially, so that so that gives us an extra seat cushion, or it gives us 51 votes rather than relying on the vice president to cast the tie-breaking vote every single day on whether the chaplain should say the prayer. So that's kind of, the Senate is still a big deal.
Do you think that same logic is going to hinder Elizabeth Warren's chances of getting a cabinet position, considering we do have a Republican governor here?
Possibly. I think Democrats in states with Republican governors have a tougher path. Although I just want to say each state has their own rules for how it is done, and in the past, Massachusetts has tightened up the governor's authority here. So it's not he's not able to appoint anybody he wants. He has to, if I recall correctly, I need to go look at it. I believe he has to get approval from the legislature. So that will
Julian Sear has to approve it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
To approve his selection for a replacement. So, but it does make it harder in a 50-50 Senate for Biden to appoint anybody from a state with a Republican governor. So, see,
Right.
governors matter, right? Each of these elections in their own right may not seem that important, but when you look at the whole way that our fabric is woven, each election is important. The House, we haven't talked about. It's going to be a victory for Democrats. It's not the victory that I think people were expecting, that pollsters led us or misled us to believe was possible. And so you're looking at a narrower margin, but still enough for Speaker Pelosi to be able to control the House and deliver what the president will need.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like mostly good news.
Sure, I absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people are deflated because we saw the possibility of a blue wave, and we're not seeing that. That didn't materialize. And the aftermath will come. We're not there yet, but in the aftermath, we have to look at what messaging resonated and what didn't, and figure out what we need to focus on in the coming years. Clearly, people want the Affordable Care Act. And so we need to strengthen that. But there's a lot of details. There's a lot of legislative work that needs to be done. And yeah, the demographics are also in favor of Democrats for the next decade. So, the future didn't get here yet. Texas is still not quite purple.
Right.
But it's coming.
But Georgia is, I mean, that thing is wild.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is where we wanted to mention MVPs for this whole election cycle. There's a lot of people today, at least in my feed, posting Stacey Abrams' photo as their own photo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she registered 800,000 people to vote in the last couple of years.
She did. And right now, Biden's lead is 1,097. So her 800,000 voters made a difference.
I know isn't Georgia a state that has really bad gerrymandering?
It does. Honestly, most states have bad gerrymandering. It's become a reality of computer-based redistricting that parties in power are able to draw the districts to skew the vote so that in a state that's a 50-50 state, you can elect 80% of the delegation to one party. And to be fair, both parties have engaged in gerrymandering in the last 20 years. But 10 years ago, the Republicans did it to a degree that was undemocratic. It yielded results that were, you had to get 60% of the vote in some states to take a majority of the delegation. That's ridiculous.
Right. Where Republicans couldn't get 42% and take the majority still.
Absolutely. And they were doing that in a couple of states. Pennsylvania is a good example.
Oh, right.
Another
Another MVP.
wants to give a shout out to his other favorite MVP.
I think Bernie got a lot of criticism through the primaries, but I think over the past few months, he did so much work for the Biden-Kamala campaign and really united his base around the Democratic Party and the Biden-Kamala ticket. I think he did a really great job. So
yeah, absolutely. The Democrats definitely had a very united team, and you could feel that, and it felt different than the past, and that's nice. I would add Pete Buttigieg as somebody who went deep into districts and states that we needed to flip and made a difference.
I also think having a lot of people are like, why would Pete Buttigieg go on Fox News? Why would Donna Brazile go on Fox News? But that is where the important work is done.
Right.
Like yelling into an echo chamber on CNN to a bunch of people who are at home going, yeah, that's great and all, but speaking to people who disagree with you is really how you make change. So Pete Buttigieg going on Fox News, I think I applaud anyone who's willing to do that.
Well, and he would have the last word. He would leave them speechless, which was also incredibly satisfying to see, because they're clearly not used to having that kind of discussion with somebody who can speak their language and shut them down. And so that was, for me, very satisfying.
Me too. Love it. All three of them, Bernie, Pete, Stacy.
And speaking of MVPs, we just want to thank you so much because you were one of the MVPs of our election coverage. You really added so much thoughtful, intelligent, smart insight, and you really took our election coverage to the next level. So thank you so much for being a part of it.
Well, I love being a part of it, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. So thank you.
You know what else, Steve? I think we should bring back 538 Dyer for like the select board races.
Word.
And you can be like, look at this street. 4 people on Dyer Street. 4 whole people.
And as soon as we get a budget, we'll get a tappable map for you.
You're going to be the map.
Yeah, that's the deal. I'm in.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for joining us again this morning.
Thank
to kind of wrap up the week. If there's more news next week, we might make you join us again.
Perfect. Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So great.
Oh,
that was great.
Are we doing that game?
Yeah. One more thing about election night that I wanted to talk about real quick was so me, John, and Bob were running around DC all night, and then we got in, turned on the news, and it was like, you know, that moment where it got really disheartening.
Touch and go.
It looked, I mean, and as much as everyone told us that was going to happen, like people, like there was a Bloomberg News article saying like Trump's going to appear to win big on election night. Don't believe it. But guess who believed it? Us. So we decided to turn off the news and put on Dumb and Dumber, which is one of me and Jonathan's favorite movies that Bob hasn't even seen. And I was so excited. I had been so excited to eventually watch this movie with Bob because I knew he would love it. And we literally watched it in silence. I don't think any of us laughed once. I was like, the whole time I was like,
It is a weird sensation to watch your friend's favorite movie with them, and they've sworn for 4 years that it's the funniest thing they ever saw, and no one's laughing. And I'm sitting there going, are they realizing as adults that it's not as funny as they thought, or are they just really, really sad right now?
Right.
And stoned.
Both. All three. D, all the above.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody, but we traveled with some weed gummies to DC.
We're felons now.
Does that make us a felon?
I don't know. I assume. Probably.
But yeah, we had lots of candy, lots of weed gummies, and a very unfunny Jim Carrey. No, I thought he was so funny.
He was amazing. He's a comedy legend. But speaking of election night, I put together a little video of our election coverage, kind of like a greatest hits, just featuring everyone that was involved. Let's play that now. If you didn't catch it, this is kind of a little feel of what it was all like, and all of it's still available on our YouTube page if you want to go watch it, but it's a little outdated at this point because so much has changed since. But take a look. Hi everyone, welcome to the Wake Up in Provincetown election special. We are recording live from Washington, D.C., and right now we are here at the Lincoln Memorial. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us again for our 5th segment tonight. We are so excited. We are here at Nelly's Sports Bar, which is a D.C. gay bar staple.
Hey guys, what's up? We are at the Washington Monument now.
We just made the walk from the Lincoln Memorial to the Washington Monument.
So we are now at the Duplex Diner, which our friends Jason and Chris from Provincetown and DC told us about.
Very excited to be here. If you're ever
Yeah.
here, get the chicken fingers and the mozzarella sticks. They are delicious.
We haven't eaten all the
Hi everyone. We are as close to the White House as you can get at the moment. We are right at the end of Black Lives Matter Boulevard, which is the road that leads right up to the White House, which was renamed just a couple months ago.
Steve's going to patch in right now. Steve, are you there?
I am. It's great to be here, and thank you guys for doing this for us. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the election data, looking at some stuff that the mainstream media is not focused on that affects the community here in Provincetown and GLBT folks around the world. We're seeing some votes being counted already in eastern Indiana and eastern Kentucky. Not a lot of surprises. The president is turning out his base. I'm going to tell you that a couple of states have been called, 2 for Trump and 2 for Biden. And everybody's looking at Florida right now. Florida is a must-win state for Trump. If he doesn't win Florida, really unlikely he could take the presidency for another term. Ohio, Biden is ahead by 10 points. This is a must-win for Trump. There's almost no way he can be president for the next 4 years if he doesn't win Ohio.
Blue, some like red, some like to watch Fox News in bed. Swallowing the Kool-Aid, it's so clear. I'd rather be ruled by love, not fear. These shoes, try on these shoes, try on these shoes, somebody else's shoes. Yeah.
Bringing through the night, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam. Have you meant that the waters around you have grown? Accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times, they are a-changing.
Hey guys, we're here in DC with my friend Dave Barnhart, who is the founding partner of Locust Street Group Consulting Firm, a bipartisan consulting firm here in the city.
I've decided that the only thing I can accept is that we're gonna win. And I believe in science, I believe in climate change, and I believe in the polls.
Hey guys, great to see you.
Hi, Regan, it's so good to see you as well.
We can't actually see you. Are you in that leopard print onesie?
I wish I was. So I'm out here volunteering. I'm actually from Phoenix, Arizona. I was here 4 years ago volunteering for Hillary Clinton and some of our candidates that we endorsed for the Victory Fund. And we lost barely, but Arizona in 2016 moved the most of any of the states, moved the furthest towards the Democratic column. And so we anticipate that Arizona is going to go blue today and we'll go for the vice president. But I'm out here canvassing, door knocking, doing all sorts of things.
Hey everybody, our first stop in DC is the Right Proper Brewing Company in the Shaw neighborhood of Washington. We were lucky enough to meet some friendly locals who were going to ask about the election. So EJ Ofadale, Lindsay Aaron 13, Lindsay Roshke. So you guys, how do you feel about the election tomorrow?
Nervous. Really nervous. Yeah. I feel like there's just a lot on the line.
Have you already voted?
Yeah. Yes.
Both of you.
Early.
Went early in person.
But anyway, it's so good to be with you both. And first of all, really cool that you're doing this and sort of taking this on the road and having some conversations with, really amazing people in our national politics, right? You're talking to Ruben Gonzalez. I know you're going to hear from Robbie Friedman-Gerspin tonight. Seeing that image of Lafayette Square, right, which is the square that's sort of north of the White House, and seeing that barricade. I mean, I remember in 2009 when I was an intern in the Obama White House, I worked in Lafayette Square. That was all open. It was gated off like a prison.
Right now we are sitting down with Rafi Freeman-Gerspin. She was a White House staffer in the Obama administration. She's worked as a legislative staffer in the Massachusetts House of Representatives.
Yeah. We have very gerrymandered states in places like Wisconsin, North Carolina, Texas. So if Democrats are able to flip certain chambers in the different state legislatures, for example, the North Carolina Senate or the Texas House, that's going to impact how redistricting plays itself out in Austin next year or in Madison next year, wherever a flip may or may not happen.
So we wanted to chat up some locals about what's been going on in DC for the last 4 years. This is Sarah and Rich, our new friends. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Of course, thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. 4 years ago, we had a large party here, and it was such a great time here at Duplex Diner. We had such a great party. Everyone was having a great time, and then slowly declined. And then once Ohio turned red, it was kind of the ending point.
From London.
Yeah, we didn't
From
know she
6
was in
hours
London.
ahead.
It was like 4 a.m. by the time we were done finishing, and we're like, wait, she's in London?
Pregnant,
up at 5 a.m. helping us do our show.
patching our
Amazing.
feet
We love
together.
her.
Thank you, Heather, if you're
Mhm.
watching. Here's the portion of the show where we wish our friends a happy birthday today. There's actually a lot of birthdays in my friend group.
Mhm.
Beanie Pitzner here, who owns the A House.
Oh,
It's her
yeah.
birthday. Happy birthday, Beanie. Pulitzer Prize winner Michael Cunningham. Happy birthday,
Mhm.
Michael, if you're watching. And the call this morning is going to go to a very dear friend of ours. I bet he's up. Do you think he's going to answer? It's also Blake Bullard's
It's 10 o'clock in
birthday.
the morning.
Happy birthday,
No.
Blake.
Not people who sleep at 10 are fine, but
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy birthday.
happy birthday, Bob.
Thank you.
You guys, it's Bob Lindsay's birthday. We're calling you on the show.
Oh my God.
You're live right now.
Yeah, we had to wish beloved pillar of the community, Bob Lindsay, a happy birthday.
Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You're
We hope you have a fabulous day.
Well, thank you. That's really nice of you. I do appreciate it. No, and I'm so honored to be a beloved pillar of the community.
You personify that. You
Mhm.
are that.
Right.
When we make trophies, the little man on top is going to look like you.
Well, thank you very much. By the way, you guys did a great job in your show from DC. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
It was a nice diversion from the craziness.
Great.
That's
That's
what we were
exactly
hoping
what
to
we wanted
provide.
it to be.
You know, and fingers crossed, things are looking better for us.
They're looking great. We just called the election.
We just called it right here on our show.
I don't know what else you're waiting for.
Did you? Well, listen, I'm going to call it to AP and tell them that.
Please do.
Wake up, it's called the election, so we're kind of done.
That's called real journalism.
That is real.
Well, enjoy your day. Get yourself something nice. The presents are coming.
Thank you so much. And Bob, don't forget about that cake.
Okay, I got it. It's happening.
Have a good day, Bob.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We love Bob.
Happy birthday, Bob Lindsay.
We have one more interview guest coming at you virtually. It is our Senator, Julian Sear. Is Julian here with us now?
Good morning.
Good morning. We know you're
Julian.
very busy. Thank you for making some time.
Allegedly, yes. No. busy hand wringing and being anxious and depressed and excited, and then a little overwhelmed again. But all the good things I think that interestingly about this election, right? It's like I feel like all Americans are in this boat, right? Because I certainly have flashbacks of 2000, and certainly then of 2016, our other stolen election. So sorry, they're hard to remember all of them. But I think that it's safe to say Americans of all kind of political ilks are feeling a lot of anxiety, uncertainty about where we are. I think it's clear we will have clarity. I'm pretty confident, and I think the Biden folks feel pretty confident they're going to win. But this election, it was very different than we expected it to be, at least sort of across the nation. Here on Cape Cod and in Massachusetts, a bit of a different story, a bit of a outlier, if you will. A lot of actually good things happened here in Massachusetts.
first and foremost, you won your re-election.
Thank you. I mean, it was. Yes, thank you. I was running unopposed, which
that's the
first
easiest way to win an election.
I'm just learning. So this, yeah.
You could have been running against anyone and you would have won.
I mean, we'll do a little road trip, COVID-safe road trip to Yarmouth or Barnstable. But no, this was my first election running unopposed, and had two very competitive elections in 2016 and in 2018. In 2018, won pretty resoundingly by 25 points. Won, I think, every single precinct except one in my district. And look, 2020 always was going to be a good year for Democrats, at least in Massachusetts. And I think actually already there's someone who's announced against me for 2022. So, but I'm just going to keep doing the hard work. You just keep doing what you're doing and you work hard. And I think I find Cape Codders and Islanders just really appreciate, that kind of hard work where you just show up, you do the work. This is a really consequential time in government, but, certainly it's an honor to be reelected. I can't believe this is my third term going back into the legislature. So, certainly grateful for that opportunity. But I do, I was sort of emotionally kind of like wanting this, sort of euphoric evening, and not on my own account, but really just for the rest of the nation. And that didn't happen. And the results were a lot closer than I think certainly those of us who sort of, glue ourselves to these polling sites and other sort of sources of information expected. And I think we clearly have a very, fractured society here where, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris received more votes than, anyone else has ever received for the presidency. But the turnout in support of Trump and Pence was very, very significant. And the fact that the election is so much closer, the fact that the Senate, is going to come down to now, I think it's going to be two runoff races in Georgia that are going to happen January 5th. It's just it's a different environment, I think, than certainly I had fantasized about. But I guess that's the difference between fantasy and reality. And I think it's important not to live in the wreckage of your projected political future, which I have been doing a little bit this week. I admit I have been certainly taking some time, I think, personally. And it's important, I think, just to, to sit in those feelings and to have those feelings but also to sort of really steel yourself for the work. There's going to be a lot of work ahead, even just these two races that we've got in Georgia. So, taking a little bit of time. Fortunately, the weather here, you boys brought back the good weather because it was freezing when you were in DC. And yesterday was glorious. And I think today is going to be even nicer. So that's helping too.
Were there any races that you were really excited about the outcome of?
So yes, like a lot of races actually that were very, very good, very crucial. I'll start sort of at a state perspective. First here on Cape Cod, we had a county commissioner's race that we talked about, and both Democrats won that race. Sheila Lyons and Mark Forrest took out a guy named Ron Beatty, who's kind of just one of these like Trump Neanderthal people. So that was really good. In the second Barnstable district, which includes sort of most of Barnstable and parts of Yarmouth, a gentleman named Kip Diggs unseated the incumbent Republican Will Crocker. Kip Diggs is going to be the first African-American legislator to represent Cape Cod and Beacon Hill. That's a big deal. Across the state, we had another pickup in the state Senate, actually. A fellow named John Cronin won over the incumbent Republican Dean Tran. This is sort of in the Fitchburg, Leominster area part of the state. Tran had some problematic ethical things going on, so this is a good win. Although a little bittersweet for me because my colleague-elect, Mr. Cronin, is 30, so it means that I'm going to have to give up my tiara as the youngest senator in the Massachusetts Senate. I knew it was going to happen. Didn't know if it would happen. I mean, eventually, right? I didn't know if it was going to happen, that would happen this quickly. But anyway, much congratulations to John. All my other colleagues were reelected. And then most importantly, probably the most crucial state Senate race from a Cape Cod perspective was Sue Moran, who represents the Plymouth and Barnstable district. This is Falmouth, Sandwich, and Bourne, and then Plymouth and a few towns north. And she won handily. So that's really good news. And then, of course, on the national level, we had some pretty incredible, inspirational, wins, particularly in the LGBTQ community. Sarah McBride is it will be the highest ranking transgender elected official in the country. She was elected to the state senate in Delaware.
My home state. That's the first.
Your home state. I know. You go
York,
Delaware, right? Munder Jones and Richie Torres both being elected to U.S. Congress, having LGBTQ Black men serving in Congress is a huge deal. Richie Torres will actually be the first Afro-Latino to serve, person to serve man in Congress. That's huge. There's a whole host of other races, and I think if folks are looking for maybe some distraction, want to sort of buoy yourself while we await these results, go check out Victory Fund has sort of keeping score of all the candidates who won, and just go check it out, right? Because there two lesbian sheriffs won pretty competitive races. I think one in Ohio, one in I believe in South Carolina. Those sort of stories are what has been carrying me through the angst and the uncertainty, and just a little bit of a letdown, right? I'm relieved, right, that Donald Trump is going to be exiting the stage. I mean, he may need to be pulled off the stage with the what are those hook? Get the hook, they say, right? But I think that's going to be really good. But the reality is that we have a much more divided country. We likely will have divided government. And so I'm sort of trying to focus on those silver linings. I think broadly, Steve was talking about this. You're seeing a lot of really positive affirmative trends, but I think you also have a country that's deeply divided. That that President Trump has a lot more support certainly than we imagine in our environment and world here. Certainly, Provincetown is not a bellwether. For the rest of the country or even the state. But I do think that, if you look at the demography, if you look at the trends, a lot of those values that we really embrace and have here in our community, those are being reflected in the electorate. It's just not there yet.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I also want to give a big thank you for joining us on Tuesday during our election coverage, because you were incredible, but also a lot of those guests that we had, you did help us secure. So thank you so much for being a big part in making our entire show on Tuesday so incredible and getting us a lot of really incredible voices to feature on our show on Tuesday.
No, I was so glad to see y'all connect with, people that people you've met before, right? You've had on the show, Ruben Gonzalez, who wasn't in that leopard one piece when you're interviewing him from Arizona, but
the Joe
was out there doing the work, right? And sort of modeling how, I know a lot of people in town, Ruben sort of modeling what we need to do the work. I know a lot of people in town who aren't terribly busy in the end of December and early January, and folks should really think about whether they want to go spend some time in Atlanta, knocking doors. This is a race that's probably going to come down to suburban white women deciding which way to go. We all know it's empirical evidence that a handsome, nice gay man is sort of like a catnip to a suburban white woman. So maybe we need to get folks to start thinking about deploying to Georgia to do some of that work that Ruben was doing.
Maybe we'll do knocking doors. Special.
Another special in Atlanta, yeah. And then Rafi from Ingerspan, who's just, a national treasure and someone who's, already broken barriers. She's incredible. I mean, we were kids together at the State House. She worked for former Representative Carl Shortino, who's a remarkable guy who y'all should get on the show anyway one of these days. Right. And I was a staffer back in the day in public health, and Rafi's just a dear friend. And so anyway, congratulations on doing something really cool and connecting with really great people, and bringing the warm weather back with you. We're certainly grateful for that here. And, I think we're going to keep at it. I think folks just should tend to themselves, right? And make sure you make some space for whatever you're feeling emotionally, and tend to that, but also sort of fortify yourself for the work that's ahead, because we've clearly got a lot of work to do. The 2020 election is a relief, but it's certainly not determinative. And I think that we're going to have to keep doing a lot more work to live in the country and the world, to create the country and the world that we want to live in. So, I don't know. Georgia road trip.
What? What'd you say?
I said Georgia road trip.
Oh, yes.
I know.
We'll pick up Peter Wisdom.
And then put him back down.
Thank you so much, Julian. Have a phenomenal day. Thank you for joining
Welcome
us this morning.
home. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Julian. Awesome. Well,
Wait, before we move on to the final thing, I do want to say one thing in local news. This was the first week of the Soup Kitchen. I might go there today.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Is it an Asian Friday today?
I don't think because it's the first Friday. She's only doing it every third right now.
Okay.
Until we lean on her and Jackie. Everybody lean on.
I think leaning on her means giving her money, right?
And also being like, hey, why don't you do this more often? Why don't you do Asian food more frequently than once every 3 weeks?
But a reminder
That's
that
an
you
idea.
can sponsor a day at the Soup Kitchen. I think it's $150,
$250.
$250 to sponsor a day at the Soup Kitchen, which is incredible and will make you feel really great. It's really good for the community.
Go by there, drop $20 in the jar, and get some amazing food.
Yeah, have an amazing lunch. Throw some money in the jar if you can, and hang out with some people from town. It's really cute. It's such a good vibe there. Thank you to Bethany for doing such a great job there as always. Yeah, awesome. So thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We have one more thing for you, but we're gonna say bye to you. Thank you for waking up in Provincetown. Thank you to everyone, even though our staff isn't as big today. It's just Jonathan and Benji dancing behind the camera. But we wanted to thank Miss Molly. We're so bummed we couldn't see you today, Trevor, everyone involved.
Mark, love you. Miss you in DC.
But we're going to take it away. We're going to play Zoe Lewis's performance from this past Tuesday. She did a really incredible original song, which I think kind of sums up the mood right now.
Listen to the words of this, please.
Yeah, take it away, Zoe. Thank you for waking up in Provincetown, wherever you are. We will see you next Friday at 9 a.m.
This song was written 4 years ago, after You Know Who got in. And it was when empathy... This song was written 4 years ago, after You Know Who got in. And it was when empathy was being questioned. I looked up empathy today. It means the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. And then I looked up narcissism. It means excessive interest in or admiration of oneself. Narcissists often lie about their own achievements and are often obsessed with the idea of being the best. So without much further ado, this is a song about empathy, about what was going on. Thirsty Burlington, my friend, she put up something today. She said, vote as if your brother is gay. Vote as if your house is on fire. Your skin is not white. Your child is transgender. Your spouse is an immigrant. Your water is unsafe. Your neighborhood is flooded. Your parents need Medicare. Blah, blah, blah. Vote not just for yourself. Try on other people's shoes. And that's what this song is about. Because it seems like we're getting in a whole lot of trouble, because everybody's living in their own little bubble. Close your eyes and the country falls. I've always liked bridges better than walls. Some like blue, some like red, some like to watch Fox News in bed. Swallowing the Kool-Aid, it's so clear. I'd rather be ruled by love, not fear. These shoes, try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Somebody else's shoes, yeah. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Before you talk, take a walk in somebody else's shoes. Yeah. And I scratch my head in disbelief, because you shun the ones who need the most relief. Can you not see when the powerful use their position to bully? We're all gonna lose. And imagine if the tables turned, suddenly you were the one being spurned. Would you break down? What would you do? Would you have another point of view? These shoes, try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Somebody else's shoes. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Before you talk, take a walk in somebody else's shoes. Yeah. Lies, lies, you're full of lies. Things fall apart when they're full of lies. Please, please, please persist to resist. Yes. Hello everybody, we come first. We're the best and you're the worst. Finger on the button so you better beware. Diplomacy vanishes into thin air. And what do the children learn as they grow? With the White House whiter than snow. Step out your box, come on, open your eyes. Try on shoes of a different size. These shoes, try on these shoes. Try on these shoes, somebody else's shoes. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Somebody else's shoes. Yeah. Try on these shoes. Try on these black shoes. Try on these women's shoes. Try on these gay shoes. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. These Mexican shoes. These Muslim shoes. These trans shoes. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Haiti. Try on these shoes. Try on these shoes. Somebody else's shoes. Try on these shoes. Yeah. Try on these shoes. Before you talk, take a walk in somebody else's shoes. And vote blue. Fingers crossed, everybody. Love you.